Okay, so right now I'm gonna tell you guys the story about how one time my Uber driver thought that I was an escort. First, I want to put a disclaimer out that this is in no way trying to put shade on escorts or any of that business because that's none of my business. But yeah, this is the time that my Uber driver suggested that I was an escort. So boom, we're gonna get right into the video. So it was like the end of my senior year. There's like at my school there, senior year is a big celebration. We do a lot of trips, a lot of activities and stuff. And so this particular activity, we were going to have our senior breakfast, which we have on this like nice boat, fancy thing, I guess you call it fancy, whatever. And it's like the dress code is like, a nice outfit. Girls wear dresses and stuff, and guys wear nice shirts and khakis, the huge. And so it's like an all white affair, but for some, like the all white outfit that I bought wasn't really, I wasn't feeling it. I didn't have the right bra to go underneath it. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna wear this. So I decided I was gonna wear black instead. So actually, I recently got a black dress, like a little black dress from a thrift store, and it was like a really simple, like regular black dress. I'm gonna try and find a picture of me in the dress so you guys just get an idea of the whole situation. Okay, so and this all could have been avoided, might I add, if I wasn't a person that is sometimes late to situations. Like if it's like a party or an event, not if it's like school or work or something. I'm like, I like to be on time. But if it's like, my culture is very laxy daisy. We come to things late. I'm on that colored people time. So yeah, so I came anyway. I didn't make it to school to get on the bus to go to the event. So I was like, all right, let me just take Uber there. Yeah. So I call the Uber and she pulls up. This is a woman, by the way. And so she pulls up and she watched me come out my house. She like, hey, how you doing? Whatever. So I get in the car. And so I slide myself into the back and she's like looking at me in her little mirror and stuff, and so she just started asking me questions. And like, I really don't mind talking to people because I like talking to people, but sometimes you get in the Uber and you're not really feeling talking to people. But today I was like, oh, whatever, I'll talk to her. So I'm talking to her, she's asking me questions and stuff. Then like, it's just normal conversation. Then she asked me, oh, did you get in late last night? I'm like, that's a little weird to ask someone, but sure, I'll answer the question. So she's like, I'm like, oh, I actually did. I was coming from New York and da 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 da. And I actually was coming from New York from another little senior activity that I was doing. We went to see a play on Broadway, and I got back from New York late that day. So it actually, you'll see how this plays into things later. So yeah, she's like, oh yeah, me too. Da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, it's a little bit strange now because she's asking me, did I get in late? Like, that was a little weird. Whatever. So we just keep on having conversation. She like asking me about my job and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't have a job. So yeah, I don't really have a job and stuff. And at this point, I'm kind of getting a little bit weirded out by her conversation. So I'm just kind of like being a little bit standoffish. And so she launches into this story about how she used to go on all these fabulous trips with men because I guess, and this is why I found out like from her conversation, that she was an escort, and she like thought that I was an escort too. And she's like, oh, and she was like a little bit older, maybe in her like 50s or so, and she was like, oh, when I was young like you, I had a nice little body like that, and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, this is getting creepy. So she just keeps going on. She's like, yeah, I used to go on trips to New York. I used to go to LA and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, like this is really weird. So the conversation continues on, and I guess she can feel my vibes that I'm like a little bit weirded out by this. And she's like, where are you on your way to now? And I'm like, oh, I'm a senior in high school, like, and I'm going to our senior breakfast. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, like, all this stuff. And she just was apologizing because she had assumed that I was an escort, and because of the way that I was dressed. And that was really crazy. So yeah, that's the story of the time that my Uber driver thought I was Escort. It was a pretty quiet car ride from there on out. I got to my destination. Everything was fine. So thanks for checking out my video. I hope that gave you some more perspectives. You know, Uber gets pretty wild out here. You get some crazy drivers, and Uber drivers get some crazy riders, and that's just how it goes. But thanks for checking in. This is Jasmine Living Lovely. I'm living lovely, and I hope you are too. Mwah.